In this video, I am going to review this very interesting mid-power bike, the Mondraker Sly RR, and I'm going to compare it to the rest of the mid-power bikes that I've tried in the past year. What's up everyone, FC here from E-MTB, and we have a very interesting and compelling bike for you guys. And I'm going to just kind of break the surprise and say, given everything, this is probably the one I would buy with my own money, all factors considered. All right, so let's get into it. So what we have here is a mid-powered e-bike with the Bosch SX motor, and very special, 150 rear, 160 front, so right there. And then it's floating on 29er wheels on their zero suspension, and then it has an aluminum frame. And very nicely spec'd. Geometry is, right there on the bleeding edge. Company from Spain, so they know what they're doing. 77-degree seat angle and 64.5 head angle, not too steep on the head. 470 reach for a medium. It comes in 5 sizes, by the way, and then 455 on the chainstay. So pretty darn cool. I don't think it's mullet compatible. I don't see a flip chip anywhere, so it's just a 29er. And the two things that are most compelling about it, aside from the suspension, which we'll talk about in a bit, is one, the weight. On aluminum, you're like expecting it to be heavy. 45.2 pounds. 45.2 pounds before the pedals. And on my scale, 45.99 with these cheap pedals. Okay. The other compelling thing is the price. $55.99 for the low-end model, and this is the high-end model, $65.99. And let me tell you, that is music to my ears, because whenever I hear of an e-bike, especially the mid-power, they're trying to sell it to you guys for 12 grand, 15 grand, it just hurts my ears. This is not the time to be doing that, to just be making these ultralight. It's time for the new economy, meaning let's get to riding. It's a need economy versus a want economy. We don't have 12 grand lying around. Very few have that. And let's get these in the hands of more people who can enjoy it. Okay? So what we're going to do in this video is we are going to talk about the ride quality, most important, the spec, and then the pros, the cons, and the bottom line. Okay? So ride quality, man, I gotta sit on it. So basically, this is an enduro engineering stand, by the way. You guys always ask me after my videos, what stand is that? It's from American company, Moto Style, and I have a link in the description and a coupon code. So this, when you sit on a bike, some bikes speak to you. Like you could tell what they're gonna be like, and this one just sinks into the sag point, and right there's no resistance up, no resistance down. It's just floating right there, and you really feel that in the suppleness of the bike. They call it a zero suspension, where there's a link on top and the link on the bottom, and they're both interacting to give you kind of a balance point between rider input and trail input. So it's really supple, and it's so cool. I've tried some 170 bikes that are not as supple as these. So in an e-bike, I think that's so important. And Mondraker, I've tried before in the analog days. I feel like they move a lot, and I'm losing efficiency. They claim not, but on e-bike, you don't care. It climbs everything. You got a motor to help you. What you want is the most comfort, control, and kind of stability, safety. When you bottom out, this thing is pretty darn good. It's like it feels kind of bottomless. So really cool. I don't feel a lot of brake jack, not a lot of chatter, and not a lot of kind of pedal kickback when you're in the rough terrain. So when you're in the rough, this thing really shines. It feels like it has more travel than it does. So I think that is the highlight of this bike, the suspension. 29er only. So I wish, it had a mullet and a lower dropper post, but I've been able to manage because, it's a mid-power bike. They seem to have a little more push towards efficiency, rolling efficiency, and using their lightweight to get through stuff. So on the spec is very standard and really good. The Maxxis DHF GX transmission. I heard the cheap one has a transmission to or a remote electronic shifting as well. The 160 dropper on the medium, and it 5 sizes, and it changes droppers on each size, and also changes rise on the bar. So well thought out. Very nice grip, 800 bars, and the cables going through here. One of the neatest I've seen. I don't like, nobody likes those headset cables going through here. We used to go through here, but to go through here is kind of neat, kind of cool. So there you go, nicely spec'd. And then it doesn't come with this extender battery. The brakes I don't like. No bones about it. These are SRAM codes, and 200, 200, and man, I had to get used to them. That's the one thing I really had to break them in, get used to them. Maybe I changed the pads to something with more power for me. Nice grips, nice soft grips. And one really, really cool feature is this display. It's a Bosch system, and they all come with this SX and CX4, CX5. They all come with the same little display with a wireless, but 5 LED display. This one has a whole graphical display, and now I want it on all my Bosch bikes because it's so cool. Similar to Shimano, but a lot more information. So love it, and it has the tunability of a Bosch. Okay, and now let's talk about the motor. The motor is a Bosch SX, so 55 Newton meters only. They claim 600 watts, but it really feels like a 450, 500, because you have to spin an unnatural amount of RPMs, 90, 95 RPM to get the 600 watts. But this Bosch SX, more than all my other 4 Bosch SX bikes, seems to put out more power when you're on turbo mode. It doesn't wait for you to get the RPM so high. It just says, okay, I'll give you all I got because I know you want it. You're in turbo. Battery efficiency, of course, goes down. But hey, I think it is ideal to just give the user what they want when they're in turbo mode. 400 watt-hour battery right here. And something really cool is extender. This extender is for my full-powered Orbea and pivot. It works over there, and it works over here too. And then you just slide it out right here. And if you don't want that, you can slide in a water bottle. So 49.5 pounds with the battery, 45.99 pounds without the battery and without this cage as well. What's really cool is they have a spring-loaded door here, and the door, you slide it out of the way, and it hosts the cable. So the cable is part of the cable management. We're in the bleeding edge of extenders right now, so a lot of my other bikes are like, this cable is kind of dangling too long and whatnot. But this one, pretty darn neat already. Okay, so let's go to the cons. The cons, I would say, are not mullet, if that's what you prefer. If you're a shorter person, if you want that agility, the dropper post is not as long because of the interrupted seat post, and 29er, I guess they go together, not too long, and because you can't have a super long dropper. Anyway, I have a 160 right here. Another con is it is crowded here. This is a 455 chainstay, not the shortest, but it is busy here. So if you have a lot of mud, I can imagine it's gonna get congested over there, and so not a lot of mud clearance. Okay. Another con is the brakes. Code not the best. Anything else I would have been happy for. In fact, the lower price model, DV8, I think. Am I saying that right? DV8. So I love those. Anyway, but on the pro side, we got to start with the price. 5,600 and 6,600 is insane. To have an aluminum frame that was really engineered for this, I heard they had a hard time finding a vendor. They had to change vendors to get this aluminum frame. Really sculpted. The future is in aluminum, when you're trying to hit the price point. And a lot of companies, they don't invest the time because they don't think they're going to set the units. But they made it beautiful, they made it light, and they tuned it. This thing handles so well because I think the frame has a nice tune to it. It's not overly stiff. I find that, I can see it here. Same thing with my pivot where they tapered, they made the top tube so small. So it's a tuning rod for the turning, the rideability of this bike. And then the third pro is the suspension quality. Suspension. Especially when it comes to e-bike, you want suppleness, you want control, and this delivers it. Because I'm not so concerned about powering efficiency, and this seems to be tuned to be just so supple and kind of bottomless. Not a lot of brake jack, not a lot of pedal kickback, so goes without saying, that works really well. So under 46 pounds without the extender, under 50 pounds with the extender, 400 and 250. So it gives you options, and it has a motor that's willing to put out, does not have a lot of drag when the motor is off, so you can actually kind of ride beyond the limit. So pretty cool bike. And at the end of the day, if I had to spend my own money, which there's not a lot of these days, this is the one I would buy. You know, and I would go for the higher end one, the $6,600, $65.99. I would buy it over all the rest. I like that new Santa Cruz Vala, but oh my God, it's so expensive. And let me tell you, carbon versus aluminum, there's no difference aside in the ride quality. It's all in the tuning and the manufacturing. And too much for that. That's a great bike. And then there's a couple other bikes, the RE Nebo. I love that as well. But this seems to be a little better constructed. I'm getting some creaking on my Nebo, and the reliability of all those motors, I forget the name of that. That thing is so unreliable, even though it's so good, and it doesn't have an extender. The fact that this is an extender, it's a slam dunk. So I would buy this with my own money and be happy with it. It looks great. There's a dealer network. The dealer's getting a cut of the action already. So they're very efficient, and such a bunch of nice guys at Mondraker. They're really passionate about what they're doing, and I think with this one, they've hit the sweet spot between ride quality, the blending of price and performance. This is the one in their line that's good, and I think it offers something very special in the market. Thanks a ton, everybody.